In this segment, I'm going to show you how to install MongoDB on a Mac. In a subsequent segment, we'll show you how to install MongoDB on a PC. Now, a Mac runs a version of Unix, so installing on a Linux machine is very similar to installing on a Mac. Okay, let's start by going to a web browser and finding the download page for MongoDB. We're going to do that by typing download MongoDB into Google. We're going to go past all of these advertisements and go to the first organic link. You can see here it's www.mongodb.org/downloads. And then we're given several choices. Now we're on a Mac, so we are going to use the Mac OS release. It's a 64-bit release for our 64-bit Mac operating system. You should always use a 64-bit version of MongoDB if you can, unless you're on a 32-bit version of Windows, let's say. 32-bit versions of MongoDB are only suitable for development because they limit the total amount of data to 4 gigabytes. Below this first row of production download options for the 2.6.0 release, which is the current release as of the recording of this video, you'll notice, by the way, that the stable releases always have an even digit in the second place here, so 2.6 is a stable release. You can also get the older releases. For instance, the last point release of the 2.4 chain was 2.4.10, and you can get that for Windows, Linux, Mac OS, and Solaris if you want. But we're going to download the Mac OS version now. So let's do that. And now it's downloading. It looks like it's a total of 107 megabytes. There, it downloaded. We're going to go into a terminal window, and I'm already in the downloads directory of my Mac. And I'm going to tar xvf that file. And you can see there, tar xvf is going to expand that tarball. It's created a MongoDB OS 10 directory right in my current directory. I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to go into that directory and look around, and you can see there's the AGPL, the README, and some third-party notices in a bin directory. We're going to cd to the bin directory. That's where the action is. And if we look in there, we see a bunch of different executables, including Mongo and MongoD, and these are the most interesting executables. Mongo is the shell that we're going to use to connect to the database, and MongoD is the process that actually runs the database server. So those are the ones we're going to concern ourselves with right now. By default, MongoDB puts its data in /data/db. We want to let it do its default thing, so we want to create a data/db directory. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to become root on this machine. And now I'm root on the machine. Let's just check that out. Yes, I am. And then I'm going to make dir -p /data/db. And then I'm going to chmod 777 /data/db to make sure that anyone can write that directory. Now, that would not be a good practice for production installation of MongoDB, but it's fine for our development environment. It'll let us run as a non-privileged user and put the files in /data/db. So I'm going to exit out of the shell. And now I'm going to start MongoD. And I'm going to do that by typing /MongoD. Now, I did / so that it will look in the current directory in case my path is going to search anywhere else. And when I do that, it's going to start up, and it's going to print a bunch of stuff to the log. And you can see it says it allocated some new data files at data/db, so that's all good. It started up as version 2.60. It warned me about soft R limits, which are important in production, but not important here. And now that it's running in this terminal shell, I'm going to need a new terminal shell so I can run Mongo. By the way, it's listening on the port 27017, which is the default port for MongoDB. Now let's open a new terminal window. So now we have a new terminal window, and I think I'm still in the downloads directory. Yes, I am. So now I'm going to run the Mongo shell. Do that right now, /Mongo, to make sure I get the one in the current directory. And there we go. It connected to the local server. It put me in the test database. And then just to make sure that it works, I'm going to insert a very simple document. I'm going to put something in the names collection, db.names.insert, a document with one key, the key name with the value Andrew, my name. I do that. It tells me that it inserted one document. And if I look in the collection, db.names.find, I see there's my document with an underscore ID, this object ID, which we'll explain later, that was inserted by the database, and then a key of name and a value of Andrew. And so at this point, MongoDB is running on this Mac, and we are ready to use it.